Honestly, I'm 100% here for the storylines of taking a depressing, sad, hard to digest topic and making it fun without making it cheesy and without losing its credibility and its importance. And I think there's like a trend. I don't know if it's happened before or if it's current, but I'm here for it. I feel like we're entering a new phase in filmmaking where they're taking topics and they're finding a happier way to tell them, a more digestible way, okay? Because life is hard enough. You know what I'm saying? Life is hard enough that we don't need to see our problems dramatically told to us on the screen all the time. And the reason I say I feel like it's a trend because at least 3 projects that I can think of, yeah, I think at least 3 projects I can think of this year alone took topics that were like harder, and they usually have a dramatic tone to them when they're being told, and they did it in a more either comedic, lighthearted, whimsical, more fun way, and that is Unprisoned. Unprisoned deals with an absentee father who was in jail her entire life, basically, and it's not told in the way we most expect. It's very funny and it's so digestible with a lot of realness to it. So like, also highly recommend that. And then also A Lot of Nothing. I know the trailer to me, it doesn't do the project justice, but it deals with racism, police brutality, all that stuff. But they take a comedic element as well as a whimsical, jazzy vibe to it. So it's a much better dissectable project. I'm gonna do a whole episode on like these type of things, or topics that are taking content that's hard and giving it so we can watch it all the way through, and then we can sit and reflect and have conversations. And then there's Rye Lane. Rye Lane deals with heartbreak, and although there's a lot of movies where heartbreak is like positive, like they deal with it, they have like the woe is me moments, but then they also have like the funny positive things. But this 100% comedic. You have 2 of the main characters. Most of the story, like there's other characters in it, but most of the story focuses on 2 main characters, Dom and Yaz. Dom is like the romantic, he's an emotional man. He's a very dedicated, like he's the type of person when he finds that person, he's never gonna cheat. He's gonna commit to them 100%. He built a life with the person, and that's what he was doing till his girlfriend cheats on him with his best mate, okay? But the way he goes into telling, like the anecdotes in this movie are phenomenal. Okay, because the way they go in telling these stories, it's outrageous. But the way that like the storytelling and cinematography together just adds to the element of like wacky, weird. It's just it's such a good fucking storytelling. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you have that person that, it's my brother. He can make any story entertaining, and you know that it's embellished like crazy. And listen, my brother is very adamant. He tells me like, yeah, I lie sometimes because it makes the story better. So that's pretty much taking that concept of like, what happened is I walked in on my girlfriend and she's cheating on me with my best friend, best mate. That's how we broke up. That's the way to tell a story. What was me? The way you tell it and you make people engage and entertain is you say, I walked in, I whooped his ass, all this stuff. And so that's Dom, right? As soon as you meet him, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but as soon as you meet him, he is in the bathroom crying at his friend's art show. Enter Yaz. So Yaz is the complete opposite of Dom. And she meets Dom because he's in the bathroom crying. And her personality is loud. She is a lot more like me. She's loud, she's colorful, she's a creative. I mean, they're all kind of, well, no, he's like an accountant, I believe. But she's a creative. She definitely takes chances. She lives life she experiences life. I think Dom definitely lives life. She experiences life. And she sees him crying, so she looks to see. And I think he has on like pink Converses. And their interaction immediately is awkward and weird, and it sets the tone up of who they are. He's the emotional one and she's the like very frank, this is what's up one. So anyway, they start their journey of the day, and also the way she tells the story is she comes out on top, you know. So as the story goes on, you realize that he's way more honest. Although he's emotional, all that, he's way more honest about what he went through versus Yaz, because there's a level of protection that she upholds so that she can never be seen as the one that was hurt, the weak one. But yeah, so the movie itself goes through literally the span of one day and everything that happens in one day, taking a sad concept and going on an adventure. Shout out to everybody involved. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was so great, and it's so crazy because I wrote about it being because it premiered at Sundance, so I wrote about it, and I don't hate it, but like the log line just said what it said, and I was just like, oh, okay, whatever, all right, cool, it seems cool. But then I saw it and I was like, the fuck? And I should have known because the poster was bright and colorful, and I should have known. I'm 100% here for life is hard, okay? Like, we are all going through it. Life is fucking hard. We're all going through it. We don't need that hardship on the screen all the time. I am such a drama thriller. I'm like a suspense driven person. I love action movies. I love, psychological thrillers. I used to love horrors, but to me, they're just not the way they used to be back in the day, in my opinion. But I'm for all of those sci-fi. The only thing I'm not for are like werewolves and I'm not for apocalyptic things. They're just not my shit. If somebody dies, right? If the world is coming to an end and the dead is risen and they're living among us and they're trying to kill us, I'm hopping to the other side. Like, I'm not putting up a fight. I'm not spending my day fighting for civilization and there's like 8 of us. I'm all about standing out in a crowd until a dead person is ready to bite me. Then I'm dead. I saw Army of the Dead. This is a side note. I saw Army of the Dead on Netflix, and deadass. Number one, when I see things where it's like a dead person, or like when I see a swarm of whatever, and then they do an aerial shot and it gets smaller and smaller, it reminds me of reminds me of a bunch of ants, and I imagine them crawling over my body. Can't do it. So I saw Army of the Dead, not to give too much away, but basically a kid gets bitten. So the school itself, patient X, right? So patient X infects one person, but the problem with the infection is it spreads rapidly, and it reminded me of COVID very much, but it spread so quickly that it was like in the town, because they cut off the city from like other parts so it didn't come out, built up this like safe zone that if you're not infected you come in. Solid 50 people, a solid 50 people, and you telling me get somebody else to do it. I'm going with the dead. Like, it's just, I'm not one of those people. So I don't get the concept of dead series. Like, what's the point? And then look at the world. Everything looks fucked up. Who's cleaning this up? Like, it's just not for me. So I don't really get into storylines like that. And I never really got into, I've tried the werewolves. I like witches and I like wizards. I'm a Harry Potter stan. But I never got into the whole werewolf thing. That Teen Wolf, what was the one that everybody loved? It wasn't my steez. That's for that. But back to Rye Lane. It's an artistic movie. There's a level of art in it. Obviously they meet at an art show and their friend is artsy and the girl is a costume designer and her ex-boyfriend is the artist. And then you have Dom, who is an accountant. So it's like the juxtapose of him versus her. And then even with their style of clothing, like he's wearing green and black and she's prints, colors. It's just the level of art, from the way that they did the anecdotes, the way that the in general screen, it felt like it was shot a lot in fisheyes. And I'm not really good with lenses, but that was the vibe I was getting in a lot of the scenes. But the zooming and all of that, it was just, yeah. So it was definitely like an artistic rom-com that was like a vibe. Very vibey, very energetic. It's sort of like, don't get down on yourself. even when you're going through some shit. Olan Collardy, shout out to you. Olan did the cinematography and it was like top tier. This is my only major critique about it. And that is just that it wasn't marketed I don't actually know how it was marketed. I just know that I didn't see it. It didn't have any visibility on my feed. Like to actually see any real promotion, I didn't really see any. And that's like an overall problem. I think more often I feel that the playing field is so leveled when it comes to how we market. You can reach out to influencers, you can reach out to platforms that are your direct niche audience. Yes, obviously a rom-com, it's everybody, but no, you know who your target audience is, and if you don't, then you should. But it gets frustrating because people want to see these movies, yet so many great movies are just falling through the cracks. Like there is a vault of never before seen or heard movies. The influx of TV shows and movies, cancellations, like it's just so much happening that remembering that, oh yeah, when I first saw the trailer, I wanted to see it, is far and few in between. And so something like this, I would have loved if I saw it everywhere. You know what I'm saying? If I would have saw merch, if I would have saw it promoted multiple times on various platforms that are niche. I did not see it promoted on platforms that I think it should have been, the ones that go to its target demographic. Now, it is a UK movie, so I could just be talking out my ass. But for me, as a film lover, as my algorithm is fitted for TV and film, I didn't see it. We have to start promoting it to our target demographic, because when I posted, like, what did you think of Rye Lane? Did you like it? Hated it? What's Rye Lane? I had more people say what's Rye Lane than made me feel good. You know what I'm saying? Like it should have been 0. So that's just my major critique. I felt like it was such a good film and it just didn't get the love that I wanted it to get. And I would have loved if it was like #1, broke some records and all that shit, because it's so good. But it didn't happen, and it's fine. But this is just a moral story for anybody that's a filmmaker, any entrepreneur, anything. You can never have too much marketing. You know, they say there's no such thing as bad press. There's no such thing as too much marketing, in my opinion. So there's that. But yeah, overall, I recommend this movie. I recommend it to everyone. And so like not all projects can I say like, oh, it's for you. And I use it for like my family, right? I'm extremely close to my siblings and my parents, and I know what they all like. Me and my mom and my sister pretty much have similar tastes. But when it comes to certain things, I just know specifically, I got to call my brother, like, you're going to love this. When it comes to certain things, I call my dad. You're like, watch it. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. First person I thought of, my father. You know what I'm saying? The Banker. First person I thought about, my brother. I know certain projects work for certain people. So like if you love romantic comedies, if you like comedies, if you like feel goods, you'll like it. Now, if you're open to trying new topics and things like that, because you're like, oh, it sounds good, you know what, I'm going to give it a try, then yeah. But like, I think it's weird when people say something's bad, but they know in their head, like, I don't even like stuff like this. So obviously your chances of liking it are not as high as somebody that's already a fan of that genre. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I recommend it to people that are into comedies, romantic comedies, yeah, things like that. Here are 3, 4, maybe 5. I'm trying to think. My brain is like not working right now. But here are a few movies to watch if you like Rye Lane. If you watch it, you're like, oh, now I want to watch something. Here are 5 movies, maybe 5. I don't really know. Here are a few movies to watch that I think you'll like. Starting with Someone Great. Someone Great is another comedic way to tell a breakup. I will say at the end, it's way more dramatic and the tears will flow for a lot of people. But a movie that does breakups in a comedic, more comedic way, I love Someone Great. Seriously Single, it's on Netflix. Oh, Someone Great's on Netflix as well, and Seriously Single's on Netflix as well. And it's another breakup story, but this girl is like me. She's like a romantic. She's a serial romantic, and she can't really be single. She doesn't really know how to be single. It's funny. It's a funny movie. Bridesmaids. I think we all have seen Bridesmaids. Another one. You know, about this movie, Rye Lane, it very much is setting a new tone in a new lane that I haven't seen in diverse casting. So let me just get that one out. And so there's not a lot of options with diverse casting, and I'm trying to think of some. There's not a lot of options. So with that being said, Pitch Perfect would be another one that if you like Rye Lane, you would like. I'm trying to think. Brain is like not working. Yeah. So check it out. Let me know your thoughts. If you love it, hate it. You know which one I'm trying to think of? I can't remember it. But yeah. Anyway, check it out. Let me know your thoughts. I would rate this honestly 8.5 out of 10 based on originality, casting, style, writing, and just overall for the genre that it's in, how it reigns supreme against other films. I think other people, I don't know. I'm not a critic. These are my opinions alone. I tell you how I feel about movies for the average person that wants to watch them, not analyze all of the imperfections. All right. And on that note, I'll talk to you later.